So as we are farther into the summer months, some of the spring crop doesn't really like to behave that well, and I would say my onions and carrots are in that bucket. So you see the onion or the carrot patch is quite good. You see heavy tops, but the difficulty is using new soil, depending on the composition and everything going on. Sometimes getting a lot of growth doesn't necessarily mean a lot of what you want. So in this case, I would say pretty much you're going to see a heavy top growth and probably not big of carrots. But carrots have been in there for 3 months. This is where the summer months are drier, hotter. They still maintain themselves, it's fine, but they're more susceptible to cracking since you are not as moist soil, very dry, and then heavy rains, so they tend to crack a lot more. In terms of taste and whether you can keep them in, they are a root crop, so I would assume they would be okay, but I've never tested the taste between 2, 3, 4 month carrots that's been in the ground. So I were to just pull up one of these, yeah, not the best. So these are purple snacks. If you can see, very, 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 very tall. Green growth, maybe not as much with the fruit or the carrot in this sense. So probably too much nitrogen in the soil. So this was new soil, probably too much nitrogen. So usually takes a couple years to get that nice balance where you need to be. So not too surprised that we probably won't have the best of at least best looking carrots. Certainly enough of a yield, maybe not in the size that we would like of these things, but nonetheless, sometimes you just got to call it a day with certain veggies and just pull them up and deal with what you have. So we'll open this bed up so we have can start fall planting and everything, and we'll see how many carrots we get. So we'll start harvesting these now. All right, so we're not going to pick all of them. We'll pick whatever people want out of this, and I don't want to pick too much because I don't want to dry out the soil for the ones that we're not going to pick. Some of these are still pretty small. Not that they're probably going to grow, but I'm more picky about the fall planting. I'd rather want the dirt nice and moist than dry out. So we did 3 kinds: mokum, purple snacks, sugar snacks. You can just visibly see a significant top growth versus the size of the carrots, but nonetheless, carrots. So these are the purple snacks. Those are the tallest of the bunch, so that's why we picked the majority of those. Then we have mokums, and we just popped off the top just so we can differentiate them when we eat them. And then you have your sugar snacks. Still, again, pretty big tops, not as large of carrots, I guess, as you would expect based on what you see in the grocery store. But it is interesting. We haven't gone to this bed yet. I picked out a few just to see what they look like. And even though this was probably 2 or 3 weeks later, when we seeded them, the carrots actually look much better. So whether this was due to seeding them at a better time, could be sun, I don't know. This one maybe get a little more sun, that's a little more shaded. I thought that would be better for the carrots. Not really sure, but it just goes back to that certain crops tend to be a little more finicky about soil, sun, all that sort of stuff. So depending on the composition, maybe too much nitrogen over in that one versus this one, I'm not quite sure. But you can't really judge too much based on what you see here, because mokum looks the smallest and definitely has the smallest looking carrots over there. But in this bed, mokum is working probably better than the other two. So it is what it is. That's just how it goes with carrots. But nonetheless, we have carrots, plenty to go around. So something to think about when you're working with carrots.